GTA Online today is a little bit different to how it was when it launched. And whether you're a new player or a returning player, when you load up the game, you're going to be more confused than a homeless man on house arrest. Or maybe you are that homeless man because you don't have enough money to buy your own house. And after making one beginner guide already, you guys mentioned quite a few things that I left out. So making use of all of the feedback from my awesome subscribers, we're going to do this again, and we're going to do it bigger and better. So after playing thousands of hours of GTA Online, I made a new character to show you how to make millions of dollars from nothing. And we're going to take you from sleeping in the streets to sleeping in the sheets of your $10 million yacht, penthouse, or high-rise apartment. It's up to you, because you'll be rich enough to own all of them. So without any further ado, let's jump in and get you up to speed in GTA Online. This entire guide will be made specifically for solo players, but if you do have the luxury of having friends to consistently play with, I'll be pointing out the specific points where you can do something different to what I recommend for the solo guys. Also, for some of the businesses we'll be going over, I won't be going into specific details on exactly how much money you'll earn from them. Instead, I want to go over which order you should buy them in, and basically how they operate. If you do want to know more on the exact earnings for each individual business, I did make a separate video, so make sure to check that one out in the description below. So, once you land in Los Santos, you'll be asked if you want to complete the tutorial, and for players who haven't played Grand Theft Auto before, I highly recommend it. It should only take around 1 hour, and it'll take you through the basic mission mechanics and the fundamentals of GTA that we'll be using from this point forward. Once you've finished the tutorial, your first step will be head to the casino. No, not to try to gamble your way to $10 million, but instead just to spin the lucky wheel. You can spin the lucky wheel once per day, and you can win some pretty helpful rewards. In some countries though, you don't have access to the wheel because of your country's gambling laws, and if that is the case, don't worry about it, we'll just move on to the next step. Our first goal is to become a CEO, and to do that, we need $1 million to buy a CEO office, and the cheapest one is here, Maze Bank West. Throughout this guide, the current goal will always be in the top right corner of your screen, so you know why we're doing each step. Our first step to becoming a CEO will be to earn $50,000. That way we can become a VIP and complete VIP missions that have pretty high payouts. The fastest way to reach $50,000 is to complete contact missions through the game's job menu. I recommend dispatch missions or whatever the weekly missions are that will give you double money. Simi and Repo Deluxe missions are also pretty simple as well, and they can be found by the big S on your map. Once you reach 50k, you can become a VIP through the game's interaction menu by holding down the touchpad on PS4 and the equivalent buttons on Xbox and PC. Now, we want to rotate between completing 2 missions, and those are Headhunter and Sightseer. Sightseer is going to send you around the map to pick up 3 packages, and Headhunter will set you out to kill 4 different targets. To help with that, I'm going to recommend going to ammunition and picking up some guns. A good starting gun is the Micro SMG, because that's one of the few starting weapons that you can actually shoot while you're driving, and I'd also pick up an assault rifle as well. Another tip to help with travel is to go to the nearest airport or landing pad to grab a helicopter or a plane, because these missions might require a lot of travel. The locations of helicopters are marked here, so definitely pick one of those up if you need to go across the map. While completing the VIP missions, you might get an email or a text for a treasure hunt, like this one. And if you do, completing this quest is going to give you $250,000. So obviously, I recommend doing that. For this treasure hunt, first you'll be sent to a random location on the map to find a clue, and there are 20 possible locations, so I'll link a guide down below as to where those locations are. From there, you'll need to find 3 more clues, and these ones are quite simple. The first one will be in this cave here. The second one will be next to the water here. And the third one is next to this tree. After that, go to the treasure chest marked on your map, and now all you need to do is get 50 headshots with the revolver, which you should be able to do while you're just doing your headhunter missions. There is also a similar set of quests from a character called Maud, so if you receive a text from her asking you to kill or capture a set of targets, completing that set of quests will give you $250,000 as well. For non-solo players, this is where you'll do something different. Solo players will continue the process until they reach $1 million, but you guys are going to buy a high-end apartment instead. This will allow you to complete heists, and the best apartment for this is the Alta Street apartment because of its price and location. Complete all of these heists in order and you'll end up with about $2.5 million, then you can come back to this step. Back to you solo guys, after you've completed enough VIP missions to reach $1 million, we're going to go ahead and buy the Maze Bank West office. And I know it might be tempting to buy some of the cosmetic upgrades, but trust me, it's not worth it. Just the base aesthetics will do just fine. Now this is where the grind becomes real, because our next goal is to buy a vehicle warehouse, which will allow us to import and export vehicles and earn some serious money while doing it. But the problem is the cheapest warehouse costs $1.5 million, and the CEO office alone doesn't actually allow you to earn any money by itself, but it is required to own a vehicle warehouse. So for this step, the same process applies. Keep completing headhunter and sightseer missions until you reach $1.5 million. There is one benefit of being a CEO though, and that's the fact that you can now be a CEO instead of a VIP. Because you would have noticed that you can only be a VIP for 4 hours, and when you're a CEO forever. If you didn't want to keep completing the CEO missions, you always have the option to buy a high-end apartment and do heists instead. It is an effective and fun way of earning money, but you will have to rely on random people that you don't know, so I'll leave that decision up to you depending on your style of play. Just keep in mind as well that the high-end apartment will also give you a 10-car garage, which means that you can stock up on the current free cars at the time and also buy a Batty motorbike from San Andreas Motorsports for $10,000, which is still one of the fastest bikes in the game and will allow you to get around the map a lot faster. So you've finally reached that $1.5 million mark, and if you're still with us, you probably want to do something other than CEO missions for a while, and now you can. The vehicle warehouse is a fantastic way to make money, and we're going to run through the most effective way to do it. But first, we need to set a new goal, and that is to own a bunker, which is one of the easiest and most passive businesses in the game. I've seen some guides recommend buying a motorcycle club at this stage, but I highly recommend buying the bunker first, simply because it requires less work and it's a lot easier for solo players. And the bunker we're going to be saving up for is the 2-mash bunker. Now you might be thinking, TGG, I could just buy a cheaper bunker at the top of the map, so why the hell should I save up for this one? Here's why. The bunkers near the top of the map are cheap. Yeah, but there's a reason for that. They're so far away that you'll spend more time driving than you will earning money. So it's much more efficient to buy the 2-mash bunker right next to the city. So to reach that goal, you can source vehicles for your new vehicle warehouse from the computer in your CEO office. And this will put you in a simple mission to steal a car and take it back to your warehouse, while crashing into as few objects as possible. Once it's there, you can upgrade and customize the car and sell it to the highest bidder. Cars are sorted into 3 categories. You've got standard range, mid-range, and high-end. Obviously, high-end cars will earn you the most money, and there's a way to trick the game into only allowing you to source high-end cars. So what you're gonna do is continue sourcing cars until you have 10 standard and 10 mid-range cars. But you aren't gonna sell the standard and mid-range cars. Instead, they're just gonna sit in your warehouse. Because once you have 10 of each sitting in the garage, the game will only allow you to source high-end cars from that point forward. Which means you can constantly import and export only high-end cars and earn a ton of money. So the general rule of thumb is to never sell anything other than a high-end car. So continue to import and export these cars, and if you want, you can sprinkle in some CEO missions if you just want a change of pace. And I just want to emphasize again that when exporting your high-end cars, always sell them to the specialist dealer for the most amount of money. Once you've reached $1.65 million, go ahead and buy the 2-mash bunker. And this is where you'll start earning some serious money. But before we get into how to operate your bunker, of course, we need another goal. And our next goal is going to be to become a motorcycle club president, where we can sell cocaine, counterfeit cash, and more. To start that, we need $200,000 for an MC clubhouse and $975,000 for a cocaine lockup. So let's get to work. The bunker is a passive business, which means it'll earn money in the background while you complete other activities, essentially almost doubling your current amount of income. This is how the bunker works. There's 3 bars down the bottom right of your screen: stock, research, and supplies. Essentially, your bunker staff will continue to use the supplies to fill up the stock and research bars, but we're here to make money, not to research. So we're going to go to our computer and assign all of our staff to manufacturing. This way, only the stock bar will fill up and at double the speed. A full bunker stock bar will sell for over $1 million, but you won't be able to complete that on your own. You'll need 3 other friends, because the stock will be split up across 4 vehicles, and you just won't be able to sell that within the time limit. So, we need to make sure that we only have 1 vehicle to sell the product, because we are only 1 person, of course. So we can't let our stock bar go above 1/4 of the way full. Anything over that, it will spawn multiple sell vehicles. The supplies bar is also going to constantly be decreasing, and without any upgrades to your bunker, which we'll get to later, you'll need to resupply your bunker about every 2 hours. For efficiency, it's much more effective to buy supplies instead of stealing them, and I know $75,000 might seem like a lot of money, but it works out in your favor by buying them. Since you're at your bunker about every 2 hours to resupply, I recommend selling your stock while you're there as well. And like the vehicle warehouse, always sell to the location that will earn you the most money, and then rinse and repeat this method. Like I said before, the bunker is a passive business, so while you're letting your bunker fill up, you can continue to import and export vehicles, do heists, or complete CEO missions, which gives you a lot more freedom in the way you play. The bunker on its own is not an extremely efficient way of earning money, but when it's paired with these other jobs, it's a pretty quick way to get rich. Once we have $1.175 million, we're gonna go buy our MC clubhouse, and the cheapest one is here for $200,000. Go to your clubhouse and jump on the computer to buy the Alamo C cocaine lockup. Just like the bunker, the cocaine lockup is a passive business. However, you will need to sell and resupply more often than the bunker. Therefore, in order to make it more effective, you will need to buy the upgrades. So once you have the money for it, go into the upgrade tabs and save up for the staff and equipment upgrades, which combined will cost around $1.4 million. Your cocaine lockup and other businesses can get raided by the police, and if you did want to decrease the regularity of that, you can buy the security upgrade, but really it doesn't happen enough to justify the purchase of this upgrade. With the staff and equipment upgrades, you'll need to resupply your cocaine lockup about every 2.5 hours, just like the bunker. And the same principle applies in terms of not letting the stock rise over 1/4 of the way. From there, you'll want to continue the same process and save up for the counterfeit cash factory and a meth lab, and upgrade those ones when you can, along with upgrading your bunker as well. And then, you'll be ready for the final step towards becoming a multi-millionaire. To complete your journey, the last business you'll want to buy is the nightclub. And you might have already seen the nightclub and thought that it wasn't a business, but it actually is. The nightclub gives you access to an underground warehouse that allows you to use your existing businesses to make even more money. Confused? Let me explain. At this point, your cash flow is probably pretty good and earning money shouldn't be a big problem. So I would recommend buying one of the most expensive nightclubs, because the further north your nightclub is, the better the location is. Your nightclub will cost you just over $1.7 million, and you'll need to spend a few million more to get the necessary upgrades. But you know what they say, you gotta spend money to make money, right? Once you get into your nightclub, you'll see the popularity meter, and that's because the nightclub earns you money in 2 ways. The first is through the nightclub itself and people paying entry to get into the nightclub, which will increase when the popularity meter is full, and the second is through the underground warehouse. In my opinion, it's not worth worrying about your popularity meter because you've already got enough businesses to worry about at this point, and the amount of money you'll make from that is just not worth it. So go over to your computer and you'll see this screen. You won't need to worry about the top 3 tabs, so we're gonna go into the warehouse management tab. And this is where it starts to get confusing. You have the ability to buy 5 technicians, and the more technicians you own, the more money you'll make. The general concept is that you apply each technician to a certain product. For example, I've assigned the first technician to cargo and shipments, so now I'll earn money from cargo and shipments. The more technicians you have, the more products you can supply, and the more money you can earn. Each product corresponds to a different business. For example, South American imports is cocaine, where cargo and shipments is your vehicle warehouse. And luckily, at this point, the 5 businesses you now own are the 5 most efficient nightclub businesses as well. Once you assign all 5 technicians, I also recommend buying the equipment upgrade, which is worth $1.3 million as well. And after that, you basically never need to worry about money again. The great thing about the nightclub that you might have noticed is there's no supply meter. You don't have to ever restock this business. You won't have to do anything for this business except sell, which makes it the most passive and easiest business in the game to run. So, well, that is a lot to take in at once. But if you take it step by step, it will all begin to make sense and you won't be a dummy any longer. It will take a long time, a really long time, but after you complete these steps, you'll be able to buy whatever you want. So let me know what you're gonna buy first. A yacht, a car, an oppressor? Let me know in the comments below. This video took a really long time to make, so I really hope you guys enjoyed it, and if you did, a thumbs up would be greatly appreciated. It basically just helps this video get out to more people. If you want to see more videos just like this one, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace. If you bout it, don't act like you are.